You're now watching the Danny Mac Podcast on the BetRivers Network.
Welcome into the Danny Mac Podcast. I'm Dan McNeil as we continue to count down the days until 2.5 Bears go into Pro Football's Hall of Fame in Canton. It's my pleasure on this show today to bring you a teammate of Devin Hester's, the Florida Gator. It's great to be a Florida Gator. I learned there once upon a time. Alex Brown is with us today. AB, welcome on board. Thanks for the visit, man.
Absolutely, man. Thanks for having me. This is awesome.
When Devin Hester came to the Bears in 06, a second-round pick out of Miami, he lit the fuse to this career ending in Canton right out of the chute, man. What was it like to watch him do his magic act?
It's different. It's very different. If we can go back to 05, and if you remember, we had Jerry Ozuma. And Jerry Ozuma was a guy that he could get us. He might return one for a touchdown, a couple during the year, but he was going to get us to the 40. And back then, it was, man, if we can get to the 40, we might be all right, because then we had 2 first downs, we get a field goal. Because back in 05, we were playing at a high level on defense, and our offense was trying to catch up and trying to actually put some points on the board. And it was tough because we just didn't have the offensive weapons that we needed to put the points up. But or they hadn't came around yet, I'll say that. So you fast forward to 06, and I've told this story a couple of times. I go in with Coach Smith, and I don't take any credit for them picking him, but I think it was just a glaring need that we needed on our team. We needed somebody that could flip the field. And to look at this kid down in Miami, it's like, I mean, this kid right here, he scared the hell out of everybody at the very least. And if we can get a touchdown or 2 out of him, I mean, he's going to make our team a lot better. And when the Bears picked him, it was like, okay, now let's see if he can do it. Like now let's see. College is one thing, shorts and helmets are one thing, right? So, but when we get in the pads and you got people really running at his head, can he make these plays? And I think he outperformed what anybody thought or any expectation that we had on him.
There were 2 returns during the regular season that stood out of as many. The Monday night game in Arizona, when you guys came back, and defensively, Urlacher and Brown had a big hand in that, but Devin had a return there.
Yep.
The game in New York against the Giants, the missed field goal near the end of the first half. But neither of those are remembered to the same degree as the opening kickoff in Super Bowl 41. It had never happened before, and he watches himself walk into the end zone striding high on the Jumbotron.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Wow, what a way to start Super Bowl 41.
Yeah, I think we look past this one, and I'm going to bring it up just before I talk about the Super Bowl one, but that Green Bay one, man, I mean, Green Bay is a measuring stick, and I know as a Chicago Bear, like, people don't want to say that or don't want to really, like, hone in on that. But when we're good and we got a chance, you got to beat Green Bay. And for him to come out as a freshman or a rookie and be able to return a touchdown in that game, in the first game of his career, was absolutely phenomenal. It was just hey, this is what you're going to get from this kid moving forward. So you fast forward to so his first return for a touchdown and then his last return for that season for a touchdown in the Super Bowl. I mean, it's just one of those. Nah, like I think it was more unbelievable that they kicked it to him than he returned it, because we thought, well, if you kick it to him, he's gonna return it. The fact that it's the Super Bowl has nothing; it plays nothing with him. It doesn't matter. He's just gonna do his job. This and the other 10 guys on that field, they're gonna do their job. They've been doing it all year. This is what they do. So I was more shocked that they actually kicked it to him. Like, that was, and when he returned it back, it was like, okay, here we go. We got a head start. Let's go. And it was a lot of fun. I always thought that I'd rather not go than to go and lose. And after you go through that, that is definitely not the case anymore.
You know, you led me to it in the previous question and answer about the struggles of an offense, and that certainly didn't stop into the Super Bowl year. The offense was TJ and an offensive line that was cobbled together other than Olin in the middle. The defense had to carry that team, and it became such a burden that has not stopped since. And I would just think Hester, I mean, absolutely would you guys want him on your side for that reason, because your offense really still had not moved into the 21st century, and it hasn't yet to this day until they get Caleb Williams into it. I mean, that's the long-standing Bears suffering as a great defender, isn't it? Not having any help on the other side.
I think some of what you're saying is correct. But that particular season, Hester and the defense gets a lot of credit. I don't think we had more than 4 touchdowns that season, and Hester had 6, I believe. So out of 10 touchdowns in a season, well, our offense averaged 27 points a game. They were tied for second in the NFL. So I think they did a lot better than a lot of people give them credit. That 06 season, I think they were really good at what they did. They ran the football well. Play action was great. It was his first, I think his only season where he actually was healthy the entire season. So I don't think they get enough credit. I think the years around them kind of engulfs that particular season. But that particular season, that offense was really damn good, honestly. Yeah. It really was.
I have to share a personal story at the game. First Super Bowl ever attended. And I go back watching them on TV to Super Bowl III when Namath upset the Colts. I got to make my prop bets because I'm on the ESPN dime the whole week, and my wife is there, and we got seats, paid face value for seats right behind Jerry Angelo's family, and we were protected from the rain. So I'm like, I'm loading up on prop bets. I got to bet first touchdown in the game. I didn't bet Devin, so that money blew up right out of the chute. But what made it into the second half was the first sack in the game, and I felt really good. Okay, I'm still alive here. I got Dwight Freeney and I got Alex Brown. And damned if Grossman doesn't trip over his own 2 feet on 2nd and 2. And Booger McFarland touches him for the first sack of the game. Like, you got to be kidding me. Rex is jinxing me when I'm making a defensive prop play, Alex. It ain't right. These Bears quarterbacks.
I'm shocked that I was a prop bet. Like, I'm actually shocked that I was on one.
Well, you had 8 sacks during the regular season, I think, that year. I think that was one of your, and it could have been Wally. It could have been a few guys, but
true.
Yeah.
No, true. But that is funny that Rex he destroyed your bet, and it was a defensive bet. Like, and he ended up destroying it. Wow.
I've talked with Jerry Angelo recently, and I talked with Urlacher back in March about that team that came so close, but just didn't get there. And one of the toughest decisions was after drafting Cedric, Benson, trading Thomas Jones to the Jets. And I don't know if I've ever heard any of a player's teammates rave about work ethic and captaincy and toughness more than you guys did in such a short period of time for 3 years here. The compliments Thomas Jones gets are incredible. How much does that take the heart out of a team, especially one that sees the other side of the ball looking for an identity?
Well, it was tough. I'll say that. It was tough. I mean, I think it was tough even in the year they drafted him, because I think TJ was coming off of 1,400 yards rushing, and then you go and draft Cedric Benson. I think it pretty much just solidified what type of team offensively that they were trying to build, and that was a running downhill football team. And they wanted a guy that could hit the home run and not necessarily go 25, 30 carries a game, but maybe 17, 20 carries a game, and you get a couple home run balls. But Urlacher made it very clear, if you played on that defense, that's not our job. That is not our job on the other side of the field. I don't care what they do. It does not matter. Our job is to stop the other team, because if they don't score, they can't win. They can tie, but they can't win. So let's do our job. And that was the focus for us. Losing TJ, I'm not going to say it's the heart of the team. It definitely hurt, but the heart of that team is Urlacher, Olin Kreutz. That's the heart of that team, right? Those teams right there in the mid-2000s, your captains, there was no argument about who the captain was. Nobody had to debate on who the captain was. And during those times, that's what kills me about now when we look at a kid like Caleb Williams coming in, and I hear people talking about how is he the captain? Is he a leader? Is he this? And nobody ever made a mistake on the 85 team of thinking that Jim McMahon was the captain. Nobody ever made the mistake of thinking that Rex Grossman was the captain of that team. So you don't, just because you're a quarterback doesn't mean you're the captain. Doesn't mean you're the leader on that football team. So I think there's a lot of things that go on that we have no control over as players. And what we have to do is really hone in and focus in on the things that we can control. I think DJ Moore kind of showed us. I mean, he voiced how he felt about Justin Fields, but at the end of the day, he has nothing to do with that. He has no say whatsoever on what the team's going to do if they believe it's best for the team. So you just kind of get back and you do your job, and you come out and do your job at a high level because you really want to keep your job.
That's an excellent point. I think we often overlook that you got to turn the page. Whatever you feel for a guy, it isn't working in corporate America. You know, it's a fast turnover business. One more thing about Hester, Alex. Have you talked to Devin recently as he gets ready to go to the Hall of Fame?
No, not over the last month or two, but if you say this year, yeah, I've talked to him a few times.
Is he any closer to being content with what the Bears are doing for his party that weekend? Because I understand, and it's kind of a recent trend that players have expressed, hey, man, I see what other clubs do. Cliff Branch had died 2 years before his enshrinement 2 years ago, and the Raiders threw the biggest party in Canton for him. They're not always so generous. I heard Dev wasn't so happy with what the Bears were willing to give him for his party.
Oh no, I haven't. I haven't talked about that. I haven't heard about that. And I wouldn't speak for Devin.
Yeah. Okay.
I'd really let him say what he want to say. I think this is his time, right? This is his time, and I think he's waited. He's waited on this. I think he waited a little longer than what he should have. I think it was clear that if you ask 100 people, and this is how I look at the Hall of Fame, if you ask 100 people and more than 3 say no, then I don't think you should go in. Because the Hall of Fame is not for everybody. It's not for very good players. It's not for even excellent players. It's for special players. And Devin Hester is a special player. So I think he should have been in. I don't think your resume changes after 2, 3, 10 years. So it's the same. So if you can't go in or they deem you shouldn't be in year 1, what happened year 10, 15? You didn't get better. Your resume didn't change. So I don't understand that part. So, but I think Devin Hester changed the game. I think most people, maybe my dad or a couple of my uncles will still think Deion Sanders is the greatest. But I think most people will say that Devin Hester is the greatest returner of all time. I've never. I watched Deion growing up. I can't vividly remember all of his returns. But I was on the sideline when teams decided to kick the ball out of bounds.
Yeah.
And not give it to Devin Hester. Not on a punt, on a kickoff.
Yeah.
On a kickoff.
Yeah.
We'd rather give you the ball on the 40-yard line than they let him get a chance to return it. That's mind-blowing. I've never seen anything like it. I don't think we'll ever see anything like it.
Especially against your defense when it was at the top of its game in 0, 5, 6, 7, 8, not 5. He wasn't here yet, but I mean, that defense was terrific. And to Urlacher's credit, when I mentioned, offense, he said, yeah, the offense is the reason we gave up all those rushing yards. I mean, the accountability on that team too. You guys didn't let it be an excuse. They did. Peyton Manning got the MVP, but Rhodes and Adai running all night were the reasons that thing went sideways.
Yeah, we didn't tackle. We didn't play Bear defense. I think it had a lot to do with their offense and Peyton Manning getting them in the right plays versus our defense. I mean, we didn't. Our defense, we're not trying to trick you. We know. I mean, we know you know what we're doing. It's just, can you beat us? And can you do it 12, 13 plays down the field? And if you go back and look at that game, I mean, you see it where when the field shrunk, Peyton had a hard time getting in the end zone. It was only the time where we had a busted coverage where they got 87. God dang, I can't. Man.
Reggie Wayne.
Reggie Wayne. Sorry, Reggie. My bad. Oh man.
He's a hurricane.
But Reggie. That's when Reggie was running wide open. So that was a bust. And then they ran down the field. I think they scored a rushing touchdown. But a lot in that first quarter, in that first half, there was They'll drive down the field, they kick a field goal. Drive down the field, we stop them, they kick a field goal. And we couldn't match that on the offensive side because they were playing at a high level on defense, which they weren't a very good defensive team. But against us, they played at a high level that day. And I mean, it's it's not baseball, it's not basketball. You don't get a 7-game series here. I promise. I promise. If Peyton Manning comes out and he has a stomach flu that day, nobody in Chicago gives a damn. Nobody cares.
Alex Brown, it's good to visit with you, man. I'm looking forward to seeing where the post game crew ends up now that NBC Sports is. A couple more things, and Julius Peppers is going into the Hall of Fame this weekend. Before you talk about what he brought to the game and the skills that he brought, he was the Bears' first home run free agent signing in the 17 years or 16 that were before. Since free agency was born, they've never swung for the fences like this in 2010. And you were the odd man out. You had just completed your 8th season, and you finished in New Orleans in 2010. Did they at least give you the courtesy of conversations about turning to a different direction before you parted? A lot of guys have left kicking and screaming. I wonder how the Bears were with you when they were knowing that they were going to transition into Julius Peppers, because they signed him the first day of free agency.
Yeah, I mean, I think they swung pretty damn hard to the fences when they went and got Jay Cutler, but
well, that was a trade. You're right. That was a trade.
It was a trade, but true. But gosh, I remember that day. But Julius, no, they didn't. Hell no, they didn't call me. They didn't ask me what I thought. No, I had a thing. I'd stay in town. Sometimes we go to Puerto Rico. Sometimes I'd stay in town and I'd work out of the facility. And that particular day, a week, I guess. I think it was a week later. It was official, but I'm working out at the facility. I come in, I finish working out. Lovey and the DC that was there, they both come out. Rod Marinelli, and now I talked to both of them in the weight room. Nothing came up. Nothing. I took a shower, got dressed. By the time I hit the gate, the security gate, my agent done called me like 10 times. Oh, what the hell's going on? He said, well, the Bears are either going to trade you or release you. What? I just talked to Lovey them. Nobody said anything to me. So, but then that was it. Like, it was, I don't believe that the Bears owed me anything. Okay? This is a business. I think it's always a business. I don't think it's a business just when it's convenient, or just when it, I guess, fits what you want. It's always a business. That's what it is. When fans are on players about holding out to do this, well, it's a business. It's still a business. Like, I'm from Florida. The only reason I knew the 85 Bears because of Tecmo Bowl, not because I watched them. Like, no, like, that's the only reason. So it's not like I grew up and I was a huge fan of Chicago. They grew up in Arlington Heights. No, I grew up in Florida. I have no ties to Chicago. Now, when I'm there, I love the Bears. Now, the Bears gave me everything they could have given me, they gave me. That was an opportunity to play in the NFL. And hopefully I did my best. I tried to do my best with that opportunity. But that's all they did for me. Like, that's all they like, I don't know. They gave me the opportunity. They don't owe me anything else. It would be nice, right? It would have been nice for them to, like, tell me. But because I was super excited now. I'm a huge fan of Julius Peppers. Okay, right at this moment, right now, we're talking here. Julius and I, back in, 2001, early 2002, we traded jerseys at an ESPN thing. Okay, I still have his 49 North Carolina jersey signed in my basement. Okay, like, I'm a huge fan. We came out of school at the same time, and people ask me, like, well, why didn't you win any of the NFL, or not the NFL, the yearly awards, like the Defensive Player of the Year in college? Well, I won the SEC, but then when you got Peppers and you got Freeney, coming out with you, it was pretty damn hard to do that, like it's pretty hard to do it. So like they were special guys, and they're special, and they're in the Hall of Fame now, and deservedly so. Like man, Pep's a monster. I wish I could have played opposite him, because I don't believe we lose to Green Bay if I am. But we'll never know, right? So it's just like, I think they wanted to turn the page. They wanted something different, and I'm me. So I was just gonna be me. I'm Alex. I don't want to be anybody else. I like being me. So if they didn't think that would mesh in that D-line room, then they did what they did. So I don't fault them for it at all. I'm just, hey, I love the Bears, man. I love everything about the Bears now. And now that we have a kid in Caleb Williams that, in my opinion, I think his floor is Jay Cutler's best year. I don't think there's any way he doesn't do what Jay Cutler did anyway in this first season. I don't think there's any way he doesn't meet that. And then his ceiling, if he meet his expectation, it'd be something we've never seen in Chicago. So I'm super excited for sure now to be a Bear, because we do have a really good defense. We have a running game. We have a quarterback. We have receivers. And we have a team there. And now if they can put it all together, they just may be able to get over that hump that we weren't able to get over. And only the 85 team has ever been able to get over as far as winning a Super Bowl.
Very selfless answers on how it shook out at the end. Do you think Lovey knew when he had that conversation? You think Lovey was aware of it then?
Absolutely. Yeah,
okay.
I think they were. I went down to U of I and I talked to Lovey a couple of times, and when he was down there, and it was great. It was a great conversation. Just he and I just sitting there, hey, how you doing? Blah blah blah. And not coming from him, but just through conversation, I think it had a lot to do with me and Tommy, and who could they replace with if I left, or who would they replace if Tommy left? And I think they had Israel Adonijah, who stepped in and played very well, I think, when I left. And I don't think they had that replacement for Tommy, even though Tommy wasn't the Tommy that we remember back in 05, 06. He got hurt when he hurt the hamstring. Tommy, I don't think Tommy was ever the same, but my gosh, was he a special player prior to that?
Yeah, and that's a case where Jerry rolled dice on a guy whose knee was messed up, and for 2 or 3 years, damn, it paid off. He was a force. You led me into it. I wanted to get back to Peppers, but Alex, what was the single biggest missing thing with Jay Cutler?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if anything, because I played with him for 1 year now.
1 year,
so,
right?
Yeah, 1 year. So I'm not gonna sit up here and act like I played 5-6 years with him. I didn't. But he had everything. I mean, it seemed like it, right? Maybe it's a good thing, and it's a curse where you have that golden arm and you think you can do things with it that you shouldn't try, and that's fitting the ball in between 2-3 people. And then when it works, you're like, like, no, you got lucky. They just didn't catch it. No, that's still the wrong throw. Like, just because you completed it doesn't mean it's the right read or the right throw. So for me, I think that's what it is. But if you're looking at a quarterback, man, he had everything. He had it all. He was super talented, super athletic. If you think about where he was at as a 24-year-old in the AFC, and he's making the Pro Bowl. So we're talking about with Tom Brady over there, with Roethlisberger, with Peyton Manning, and this 24-year-old making a Pro Bowl. Like, who the hell? Everybody was excited when we got him. I don't care what we gave, what we had to give up to get him. It was a super exciting time because he seemed to have everything. And then the guys that actually played in those championship, or those seasons where they had a chance to win a championship, I think it was 2010, maybe 13 or 12, but he got hurt. And that's what kind of derailed those seasons, whether it was a thumb or I think he hurt something else another season. But Hey, I mean, that's a part of it, right? Injuries are
Yeah,
a part of the game, so you
yeah.
got to deal with it.
He missed, I think, 5 or 6 games when they were going real well with a thumb,
Yep.
trying to make a tackle. Interestingly enough, um, and then
Yeah.
he hurt his knee in the NFC Championship game against Green Bay, and Bears PR didn't even tell Fox what was going on. They just show Cutler on the sideline with a jacket. And Caleb Haney shaved his mustache for the post-game news conference. He had to play, and then BJ Raji is running with it. Oh man, Bears memories, God.
Man, oh, tough
Julius
times.
Peppers, the guy with the
Hmm.
49 powder blue jersey in
Yes,
your home.
yes.
Was there anything he couldn't do defensively?
No.
In the front seven, man, if you wanted to, he could have played the nose. He was so powerful and explosive.
Yeah, I mean, he was, gosh, I played football with Javon Curse. I played with Urlacher, and I think they're the two most gifted players I ever played with. Um, I think Pep, had I played with him, I think he'd be right there. Pep's 6'7", 290. He ran a 4.6 in the 40. I remember because this is the stuff I'm listening for on our pro day when he's going and then Freeney's going, because those are the guys I'm like, okay, if I can do what they do, and I'm like, Freeney ran a 4.3. What? Yeah, nah, I'm not doing that. Like, my body's not doing that. What is going on? And then Pep is so big and so fast. He's just, I don't think we've ever seen anything like him. And he didn't just play basketball in college. He played at UNC. He played where Jordan played. He went to a Final Four. His team wasn't like sorry. They were really good, you know? Like, he's uber athletic. And if there's one thing that if I could give Pep, if he never played basketball and was just let me see, a Lance Briggs mentality of football, I think he breaks the all-time sack record. Like, I think he played, and this is just me talking. I think Pep played. Yeah, he liked football. I think Pep played football because he was good at it. You know, like, he was good
Mm-hmm.
at it. Like, he's just good at it. Like, okay, I'll do this because I'm good at it. Ah, dang. Okay, I think I'm gonna go get 18 sacks this year. All right, let's go do that. What? Like he's unbelievable, man. Unbelievable. I don't know if like that mentality for like that Lance, that Mike Brown like mentality that just eats, sleeps, dies football.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm doing. Like, if he's that, I think he ends his career with 225 sacks, and we're like, he's the greatest ever because he had everything. There's nothing you can talk about like Pep didn't have. If he wanted to do it, he could do it. He was that big, that fast, that skilled on the football field. He's amazing.
You know, I want to see if you agree with me on this one to the point
Mm-hmm.
of Peppers and his greatness, with the exception of quarterback, where you need somebody who's vocal and demonstrative,
Mm-hmm.
provided he's willing to put in the same amount of work, unlike
Mm-hmm.
Six. But people read body language sometimes way too much.
Yeah.
They assume quiet and reserved to be indifferent. Julius was a shy guy. You had to,
Mm-hmm.
until you finally pulled that rich, deep voice out of him, he
Mm-hmm.
whispered. People, even well into his career, people thought, well, he doesn't care that much, does he? But because of body language, and that's exhibit A, why you don't put those things on a scouting sheet or in your head if you're an armchair quarterback,
Mm-hmm.
because he busted all of those stereotypes the minute he stepped on the field. And I still hear people talk about body language and shy players being uninterested players. That's crap.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I think body language matters. Okay, I think it matters. I think it's very similar to my pops used to say, your appearance matters. And when you walk into somewhere, it shouldn't matter, but it does, right? If my wife's, I mean, we've had 4 kids, so I'm done. But if my wife is about to have a baby and the guy walks in and he graduated from, I don't know, let's say I ain't gonna say UIC. I'm gonna say Lake County Community College, right? But he's dressed up and he's dressed and he looks like a doctor, right? But then you got a guy that graduated from Harvard and he has all this other stuff. He doesn't really look like a doctor. I'm gonna be real nervous about this guy because your appearance matters. I come in and my hair is everywhere, or I'm supposed to wear a tie or a button-down shirt that's open up. Well, your appearance matters. It doesn't change who you are, but to the people looking at you, it changes everything. Like, it's appearance. Like, we say not to judge. We start judging the second we see people. Right? We start that motor going. So for Pep, like, just look at what he did. I think we did it with Jay Cutler. I think it's the same thing. Like, he threw an interception, he walk off, he's like, all right, I'm on to the next one. And we looked at it like, well, he don't give a damn. Well, he does, like, but he can't really do anything about what happened 10 seconds ago, right? Like, he can't do anything about it.
But he could talk to his quarterback's coach, Pep Hamilton, when he sits down next to him and at least engage. I don't care if he yells at the guy. Don't ignore your coaches.
Yeah, true.
And don't let Jamarcus Webb stand there trying to help you up after you got sacked and then not take his help up off the ground when Jamarcus Webb was already having a tough day. We're going to argue about Cutler until
I tell you what, if he's trying to help me up, that means somebody ain't do their job. That's why I'm laying on the ground in the first place.
Alex Brown, not bad for a fourth-round pick. It's great to be a Florida Gator, isn't it?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Absolutely. And I'm gonna stand on this one. That I know we were gonna talk about it, but no chance. I know he will go in. Frank Gore, come on. Talk to me. Talk to me on this one.
First of all, okay. To come out of college already having ACL reconstruct. Now, medicine's great now in this area. It's not Gail Sayers when a witch doctor operated. But to play as long as he did and take the beatings as long as he did, he was never the best at his position for 1 year. Never. I will never contend that. But to put the pads on, 16 games a year for so many years on offenses that didn't have much else, and 300 carries a year. And I'm not talking about rushing for 3.6 yards per carry. The dude's numbers are impressive. I think he's fourth all time. Counting stats is the expression they use. But when you play that position and endure 13, 14, 15 years of the beatings and still are effective, as recently as 2018, when he had more than 100 yards against a really good Bears defense in week 6, Khalil Mack's first year here. I mean, shit, he's crab blocking pass rushers in addition to run. I mean, the guy is – that's
doesn't mean he should be in the Hall of Fame, though.
Frank Gore is going in the Hall of Fame, Alex.
No, he is. No, he absolutely is. He's going.
He doesn't
mean he should. When you start that off and you say that at no point in time in his career was he viewed as the best at his position, well, I think that says it all.
Okay, Brian Urlacher wasn't considered better than Ray Lewis. Did Brian not deserve to be in there?
Well, the year he won defensive MVP, I think that said he was the best defensive player.
For 1 year. Yeah.
Okay, that's it.
Anybody who doesn't vote for Urlacher didn't watch a game.
Well,
I just
hold on. I'm gonna say this. Hold on, because I got a vote that year. And I still mess with Urlacher about it, that somebody thought that I was better than you. I still mess with him about it. Like, but no, like I think Ray Lewis and Urlacher, true. Okay, we're comparing that. We're not comparing Sean Alexander. At some point, Sean Alexander was the best running back in the league.
He was. Yes,
I don't think he's a Hall of Famer.
0-5, he was the best in the league, and he took that big money deal with the Seahawks and kicked his heels up.
Yes, but like those things, like you, at some point, there's no point that I'm taking Frank Gore over Matt Forte. No point. I'm taking Matt Forte every time. So you're going to tell me Frank Gore's going to go in the Hall of Fame and nobody would ever think Matt Forte is going into the Hall of Fame. I'm taking Matt Forte every year that he played.
If the way we looked at the game today was with running backs having more value in touches, was more prominent when Forte was playing, I think he would have been heralded a lot more. I think your point's excellent there because the dual threat is nobody rushes 20 times that game anymore, but guys get 26, 28 touches like McCaffrey and like a lot of other guys. He would have been much more celebrated today the way he did it. We can keep going,
sure.
man. I got to let you go, man. So, Alex
Thanks,
Brown, number 96 in your program. Look forward to seeing you on Bears Post this year, and thanks for the visit.
Thanks, my man. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Alex Brown, our guest today, thanking Randy Merkin, who gets all of our A-listers to join us on the show. Sam Michael is our executive producer. I'm going to count you up till the kickoff of the Hall of Fame game in Cleveland in upcoming days on this podcast, and, of course, plenty of post-reaction once 2.5 Bears go into pro football's greatest collection of individual stars, and that means Frank Gore should be there. I'm Dan McNeil. Thank you for watching and listening. Goodbye.